updates ahead, and we appreciate you taking time to join us. Today, I will be sharing the agenda with our immediate past chairman, Don Williamson. Don, take it away.
Thank you, Kim. Good morning, everyone. Today's event is sponsored by Cultural Cannabis Club. Culture prides itself on its strong community partnerships and providing services to its customers in a safe, secure, and innovative location. There are leaders in the industry here in Southern California. Their newest location recently opened in Jurupa Valley, and it's preparing for serving Corona later this year. Kim?
Thank you, Don. Are we working on getting that slide deck up again?
Yep.
Okay. A reminder, please use the chat button to ask any questions. Not everyone on this call will be able to see the chat. If you have a specific question for one of our speakers, please type it into the chat box, and Linda Richards, today's Corona Chamber host, will verbally ask the questions at the appropriate time. Don?
These updates, like the one today, are here to help our members. And if you happen to be on the call, but you're still not a member of the Corona Chamber of Commerce, or if you know a neighboring business that would benefit from membership, please contact Robert Yanez. Robert is our membership specialist, and he wants you, as along with the rest of us, to become part of our chamber family. We service a regional landscape. We're not bound by any geographical limits, and if you refer a member, you will receive a free advertisement in the Corona Business News. Kim.
Friday, February 19th is our Good Morning Corona. Our keynote speaker is Ryan Cora, whose topic is optics versus reality. He is a solutions-oriented and will provide info as you reopen or continue your business and help you and your employees feel safer. We are also going to get some business tips from Barry E. Knight. Contact Stephanie Shapiro to discuss sponsorship opportunities. Register to attend using the bit.ly shown on the screen.
As an employer, you need to protect the safety of your employees. To help you, the City of Corona, with funding from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, better known as HUD, is offering grants for PPE reimbursement. Awardees can receive up to $5,000 per eligible Corona business. Funds are very limited, so do not delay. Visit coronaca.gov/CDBG for details and to apply. Also, Assembly member Sabrina Cervantes, in partnership with California Consulting, will be hosting a grant writing workshop on Wednesday, February 10th at 10 a.m. from 10 a.m. to noon. As the chair of the Assembly Committee on Jobs, Economic Development, and the Economy, Assembly member Cervantes knows how important nonprofits are to the economic vitality of our region and is excited to help provide access to expertise that can help our nonprofits grow. The grant writing workshop will walk you through the grant writing process, from identifying the right funding resource for your organization, the key aspects of an exceptional grant application, and proper post-award follow-up. The workshop will also include a live Q&A, so be sure to prepare your questions ahead of time to take full advantage of this exciting opportunity. Register using the bit.ly shown on your screen.
Thank you, Don. Next, I am so pleased to introduce our city's Vice Mayor, Wes Speake. For our first segment, we are pleased to introduce him. He was elected to City Council in 2018 from the constituents of District 5. Corona is a 5-ward system. Wes truly understands the importance of the business community and realizes he serves the entire population. Wes continues to look for improvement within the city and its departments. Today, Wes will take about 2 minutes to share about a new ad hoc committee he and council member Tony Daddario are heading up. Please welcome Vice Mayor Wes Speake.
Thank you, Kim. I appreciate the time you guys are making for me today. Sorry, I'm in the dark. My light just went out. I just wanted to talk a little bit about, basically, just like Kim said, we're trying to find ways to improve. And one of the issues that I found during the campaign over the last couple of years, where I see there's little things and little places where we have either fallen down in either an explanation or getting folks into through the plan check and inspection process. And so what I'm doing is we're doing some data gathering, trying to figure if there's some common issues that have occurred over the past few years. So if you can go to the next slide. There we go. So we're asking just 5 questions. What's most important to you about plant check and inspections? People that have gone through the TI process. We're trying to become more business friendly, find ways so we can get feedback. About a year ago, we instituted a 365 review process. So when folks get through the permitting process, that we ask them to give us feedback. We realize that sometimes there's some issues and folks necessarily don't want to share things because they're worried about, upsetting someone or, there's some retaliation or anything like that. So we'd like to get, this information back. If you're open to sharing and answering these 5 questions and getting them back to us and having your name, that's fine. You can send them directly to me. My information will be at the end here. Or if not, you can send directly to Bobby. So, what's most important to you? Do you use the Track It software or the eDoc software? It's basically our program. It's how you submit documents and review where you are in the permit process. How often do the issues listed below, and we're going to talk about those in a second, have to go to a layer of upper management? And if applicable, if you develop projects in other cities, have you had similar issues or other cities that do it well? So we're trying to find ways to bring the best practices here. So really simple, the issues, concerns, how the city reacted to those issues and concerns, whether or not they were resolved, and the timing of that action. And if you have any other suggestions on how we can do things better, we're always open to hear it. And again, same thing, you can send those questions or those answers to Bobby or directly to myself. Thanks. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Wes. Linda, do you have any questions for him?
No questions.
Okay, thank you so much. Each month, we invite an entrepreneurial guest to talk about their business path, accomplishments, mentors, relationships, tips, and more. Tune in, and we are sure you will learn something new. On Monday, February 8th, we have the privilege of hearing from Elijah Stacy, a young and dynamic entrepreneur making a huge impact with his nonprofit, Destroy Duchenne, which is a genetically fatal disease. He is passionate about fighting and helping doctors to find a cure. Join this free event held in partnership with the City of Corona. RSVP now using the link on the screen. Remember, bit.ly links are case sensitive. Don, you're muted.
Makes it a lot tougher to hear. If this is the first time you are hearing about any of today's announcements, we highly encourage you to follow us on your social media accounts. We're all over the internet. We have a lot going on, and we don't want you to miss anything. It's the best way to get real-time updates on what's in store for you, our members. We also have fun contests and ways to promote your business. So check us out on your preferred channels, and we would love to engage with you. Kim.
Thank you, Don. This afternoon, beginning at 1 p.m., we are offering a COVID-19 workplace safety for manufacturers. It's a best practices and guidance for protecting your workforce webinar. This is a free workshop in cooperation with the City of Corona. You still have time to register. Don?
Thanks, Kim. We are excited to have trainer and coach Paul Webb with his very popular sales and marketing performance training. Paul offers insights to business in both sales and customer service and will change the way you do business forever. To get together with the City of Corona, this program is offered for free. If you register by February 17th, after February 17th, registrations will be $25 for members and $75 for non-members, so register today. Kim.
Thank you, Don. The Corona Chamber Foundation, in partnership with the Frontline Appreciation Group of Corona, aka FLAG, are accepting tax-deductible donations to provide meals of gratitude to the stressed and fatigued essential workers. Through this program, meals are purchased at local eateries, thus offering further economic support for our community. Our local heroes are grateful and appreciative of these meals, a little respite, and the support of our community. You can help support restaurants and our essential workers by contributing today at givebigcorona.com. With every $10, we can purchase one meal, and $500 feeds an entire department. This is a win-win-win program for the restaurants, workers, and you. Remember to go to givebigcorona.com and make your donation today.
To be compliant and avoid stiff fines in 2021, labor law posters must be posted in an employee conspicuous place. Additionally, remote workers must also be provided with a paper copy to have in their preferred language. As an incredible member benefit, the Corona Chamber of Commerce is offering one free 2021 labor law poster to each member, with the option to purchase more if you need them. For additional posters, member pricing is $30 each, 4 posters for $100, or 10 posters for $200. Posters can be picked up at the Chamber office during regular business office hours, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Kim.
Sponsorships and tickets are now available for the virtual installation and awards gala on February 25th. We will thank Don Williamson for his leadership in 2020, install our new board of directors, and present some awards to some pretty incredible individuals and businesses. I will also be sharing my vision as your incoming chair. Use the bit.ly link in the upper right corner of the image on your screen to find out more about sponsorship opportunities or to register. We are extending the early bird pricing through January 31st. You can also contact one of our Chamber's staff members to assist you with sponsorship, registration, or to answer any questions.
We have an exciting new announcement that just came on board. Available now, a new mobile app for Android and Apple users. You can, it's for the Corona Chamber of Commerce, as you see there on your screen. You can post promotions for your business, find out what is happening, and more. This is a big deal, and we cannot tell you how happy we are to offer this to you. So download it today and take advantage of this benefit of the Corona Chamber of Commerce. This is a big deal, so please get on board.
Next, we welcome Jeff Miller, who is a local businessman for over 35 years. Jeff has a depth of knowledge on business matters. As a former California State Assembly member and former Corona mayor and council member, Jeff volunteers his time to help our business community weekly, and during this year, he will be interviewing various businesses, touching on important issues and providing key insights of how to navigate new laws and challenges that businesses face. Please welcome Jeff Miller.
Thank you, Kim. I want to get started here. I see Jonathan's on the call. Can you hear us?
Can. Nice to hear your voice, Jeff.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Okay,
Nice to see you.
so let's get right into it. Anybody know what that is? Anybody use one of those? That's a dark coffee cup. And I'm honored to have Jonathan Choi from Dark Container here today. And we're going to go through a few questions and get an update on what he's been doing and what Dart's been doing. Brief introduction. Jonathan has been actively involved in the California and Washington, D.C. public affairs arena for over 25 years. He began his career in politics and government, working in Washington, D.C. for Congressman David Dreyer. In addition, Jonathan represents the Boeing Company as manager of California government affairs, represented in past. And besides his government affairs background, Jonathan has managed political campaigns on the federal, state, and local level. In his current capacity, Jonathan serves as Dark Container's Corporation Regional Manager for Government Affairs and the Environment, covering the West Coast with an emphasis on the company's California business. So, Jonathan, how you doing?
We're surviving. We're keeping head above water, that's for sure. I think everyone, the chambers of the world, the Corona Chamber, is the backbone with the small businesses. Obviously it's been a sliding scale with the stay-at-home orders. The restaurant and retailers who we work very closely with have been, hit like a 2x4, for 2020. So it's been a very, very challenging year. And I know, Jeff, as a former member, you can appreciate just the dynamics too in Sacramento. It's been that standpoint just from the work that I do in a very, small space within the broader implications of the business community and what we do at DART is awfully challenging. Doing things virtually, lobbying virtually has been very challenging.
Great, Jonathan. So many of us on the call are very familiar with these. We're very familiar with Red Solo cups owned by DART. What else can you tell us about DART Container in terms of products, employees? I know it's international, recycling efforts, and whatever else you think might be valuable to us.
Yeah, sure. So, kind of in the context of what we're all dealing with this pandemic, I think the natural is that, oh, well, the lifeline remaining for the restaurateurs is takeout and delivery, which is kind of our bread and butter. That's what we do, is produce food service packaging. But in reality, because the marketplace is so tumultuous, it's so uncertain right now, as we all know. And, you have these national accounts from fast food chains to casual dining to institutional settings that are our core background, kind of backbone, I should say, customers. And they're pulling back. The reality is that you're seeing 20-30% upwards in terms of scaling back their volume and supply in anticipation that unfortunately 21 is going to be not much better in terms of economic conditions than what we saw in 2020. So that's made a huge reverberation and adjustment within the company. I've been fortunate to be with DART for now 12 years. I have not seen significant layoffs during those 12 years, those dozen years, and we had a fairly unfortunate significant layoff reduction of workforce in 2020 across both manufacturing and administrative, corporate function type. So, nobody was immune to this within the company. So that's, I think, giving kind of context. You see all companies making adjustments, small, medium, and large. And, the impression, again, beyond just food service and takeout and restaurants, is that the larger corporations can absorb these costs. And let me tell you, it's been very challenging. And specifically for Corona, it's been awfully challenging for our facility there. Making adjustments of what they traditionally manufacture and distribute out of there has had to shift gears. The number of workforce there has been modestly reduced. The manufacturing line is not up and running 3 times a day, 24/7 as it once was. So these are reality checks for all of us. The flip side of the coin, though, on the positive, is that when companies and businesses were deemed essential businesses, essential services, critical infrastructure by the Department of Homeland Security, DART was defined as such. So that's been a blessing for our employees, for the company as a whole, where we've been as operational as we possibly can 24/7, given the fact that we are providing products that are essential to frontline workers in the hospital setting, institutional settings, as we mentioned, and of course, as we also mentioned about the restaurant community with their takeout and delivery that are essential services. So that's been good.
So in terms of Corona, I mean, I know DART internationally has facilities. I think you are upwards of 15,000 employees. Can you talk a little bit about just the Corona facility, number of jobs, what's going on at that facility? You've been there for a long time and have been an integral part of our community.
Well, the neat thing about the Corona facility is that it's basically an anchor to the distribution network on the West Coast. And, I think we're very proud, and I am personally proud because it's been such an important, and Jeff, you represented us in Sacramento, so you can attest to this, how important it is to have manufacturing footprints that are alive and kicking, frankly, still in the state of California. And so we fought hard to retain, the level of manufacturing and workforce we have currently in Corona. And it's been a tug of war. I will be very honest. The company's looked at, over time in the 12 years I've been there to move things further south down to Mexico, because we do have several operations down there, and then just truck up. As Jeff knows, we, manage a fleet of trucks as well. So we try to, kind of look at things from a cost efficiency production standpoint of how we can, be as productive and as cost effective as possible. So that was a lot of back and forth in terms of, where we were going to keep the Corona facility in its current capacity. It's a long way of saying that, our workforce has reduced a little in Corona. At one time, it peaked probably at 700. I think, during Jeff's time in the legislature, it probably was closer to that number in 2008. It's probably been reduced over time, trickling down from 500 to probably close to about 350 right now. But we're operational. We're still making polystyrene. We're still making a host of cups, containers, plates, and so we're proud of that. We're still recycling there. We still have a very robust recycling recovery facility at the Corona Center, and over time, we're hoping that maybe there will be a diversification, because the footprint in Corona is pretty, it's a good size. And so I think the company is always considering what can we do to protect and perhaps grow the Corona facility in the out years beyond just manufacturing polystyrene. So that's exciting too. And so I know my little
yeah,
will be pushing on that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So you covered some of this. I just wanted to make sure you put out as much as you wanted to put out. In terms of last year, dealing with COVID, the obstacles you ran into, and how you overcome them, and what does the future hold? What does the future look like?
Well, I don't know if we're overcoming all the obstacles, Jeff, to be quite candid, because so much of it's driven by market forces, the economic conditions that are well beyond our control with the pandemic, right? So as we mentioned, the national accounts are forecasting out of 20+% reduction in 21. So we've had to make those adjustments as well. The neat thing about this company is that we don't waste. Jeff, you've been in the facility, you've talked to our folks, you see firsthand, we're just not a wasteful company. We don't do anything very lavishly. I mean, you look at our kind of curb appeal of our manufacturing facility up in Maple. I've made that argument for a dozen years that, maybe we should beautify in the front. And the company's no nonsense. They just want to take care of their employees. They want to make a quality product and move forward, And so that kind of speaks to the fact that, because we've been so efficient and so frugal over many years, we've been fortunate to, to make those adjustments and to be still, cash positive. And I'm hopefully optimistic, given the company's portfolio has grown, because what you referenced, the solo cups also meant paper cups, and meant compostable, and meant a whole litany of other plastics too. So I think we're well positioned from that standpoint too.
Great. So last question. So, the chamber, one of the things the chamber does, and does it very well, is advocate for certain legislation and take positions on bills that are important to the chamber. Can you talk a little bit about how integral they were when we were doing our recycling bill, when they came up to the Capitol and walked the halls and talked to members, and how important that is for you, maybe not also just here, but in your whole capacity?
Well, I tell you, and Jeff, you know this as well, all politics is local. And even under the new term limits of 12 years for the members, this is after Jeff's time in office, but now the members can serve consecutive terms of 12 years, either in Assembly and Senate. It still hasn't changed the dynamic that the members think first and foremost what's important to their district. So the communication, the voices you bring to Sacramento, A+. It has to happen. It continually needs to happen. The pressure points, frankly, from a political standpoint, always reside back home. I'm sure there's, third house, Sacramento lobbyist types that, communicate in and have those accessibility. But at the end of the day, majority of members are going to reside for what's best in his or her district.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, I'd open up. Are there any questions for Jonathan in the queue?
Yeah, we have a couple. Are you ready,
Okay.
Jonathan?
Sure.
Okay, can you talk a little bit about your local recycling machinery, and do you accept styrofoam from residential and businesses? And if so, how do you go about doing that?
Well, yeah, so we do have a 24/7 drop-off facility so that it's for the public. They can bring it anytime. Now, when it comes to food service application, if it's stuff that you generally put in your curbside blue bin, we do recommend that it's rinsed off, that there's not high food contamination. And in a perfect world, if you could bag, the food service separate from the non-food service, so like your protective packaging, that would be ideal. But we take it all. We don't just take Dart products, we take all of our competitors' products too. And then from there, we densify. We do have machinery in the back of the building, and we densify it into blocks, ingots, and then it gets shipped off to respective companies that use it for post-consumer use.
Jonathan, can I jump in there real quick before the
Sure.
next question? Talk a little bit about the type of products that are developed from the recycling, because I think that's really interesting, and a lot of people don't know what that is.
Yeah, so when the housing industry was really booming, a lot of the post-consumer polystyrene foam was used for baseboarding, crown molding, building insulation. It's still used for that, but it's not quite as commonplace. So you've seen a shifting gears, picture frames, rulers, hard plastic for the backing of your computer screen, your TV monitor, the spools of the cash register receipts, the paper receipts. So it's a litany of uses. We're excited, Jeff, that we're even trying to pivot and turn a corner to seeing how we can use the post-consumer content back into potentially our products. I think that's the next generation. Trying to put it back into our existing product as post-consumer use. The challenge obviously is food service context, so we have to have health and sanitary conditions. But we're excited about that. I mean, that was something that Jeff, if you're in office today with us, those are conversations that hopefully we could advance together, because that's kind of the new reality. I mean, California just passed out a beverage container bill last year for Coke and Pepsi and all the water bottles to have a certain minimum recycled content threshold. So that's kind of the new reality. And I think it's exciting because it changes the market forces on the supply and demand chain.
Great.
Okay, we do have a couple more. Just trying to do this quickly.
Sure.
Do you sell directly to restaurants, or do they need to go through a distributor? And if a distributor, how can our restaurants obtain a list of approved distributors? And then with that, since you are local in Corona, is there a local pickup or will call options enabling a quicker time for our local businesses?
Yeah, great questions. I'm not really a sales guy, but a couple things. One is we're just the manufacturer. So generally, we distribute to the Cisco's and US Food Services of the world, and then some of the regional distributors. We're not a storefront, but we can put respective businesses in touch with the right distributors. And also, a lot of our mom and pop businesses, of course, they're going to the restaurant carry-out places, even the Smart and Finals that are on the shelves there, that our products are housed as well.
Okay, last question. With the changes in exporting of recycling to Asia and the state, new Cal Cycle director talking about expanding the process of recycling in California, is DART interested in pivoting to do more recycling in Corona?
Well, what we really want to do, we use Corona, frankly, as kind of almost a demonstration site that it can be done. and then provide the value of the public service at a drop off as well. But really where you capture the majority of our products is curbside collection in residential communities. So what we're really doing is endeavoring in Sacramento and locally with respective cities and counties to build up their existing curbside collection programs to include polystyrene and other single-use plastics that are important to DART. So that's kind of the where the rubber really meets the road.
Okay, that was the last question I had. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Okay, Jonathan, thank you very much. I really appreciate you taking time, and I hope it was valuable to the membership, and I'll turn it back to the chamber for the next item.
Thank you,
My
Jeff
pleasure.
and
Thank you for your
Jonathan.
time.
You got it.
Thank you.
Thank you both. It was wonderful information. All right, at this time, it brings me great pleasure to introduce our legislative advocate, Jeff Gibson. Jeff keeps a pulse on what's happening in Sacramento and Washington, D.C., and then reports to us so we can stay updated. These updates allow us to act timely on projects and initiatives that help make a difference in shaping our community. His knowledge of complex political issues and great relationships ensure the Corona Chamber has all the tools to be effective. So many businesses and individuals are suffering right now, and if you're not regularly plugged into these calls and reading our emails, you're missing out on so much information and action being taken on behalf of the business community. Please help me welcome Jeff Gibson to elaborate and bring you up to speed. Jeff?
Thank you, Kim. I appreciate that. And just to put a fine point on what Assemblyman Miller and what Jonathan Choi were just talking about, we have been tracking DART and a number of different large employer issues for a number of years here. And when we go to Sacramento and we go to Washington, D.C., we are proud to work with them and work to keep those jobs. For years, as I think everyone knows, styrofoam, whether it was the styrofoam containers with DART, or issues with Monster, or issues on the 91 freeway or the 15 freeway, there was very little constituency amongst a large group of legislators to take up a defense of those businesses. Jeff was one of them that was interested in defending. Once Jeff left, Senator Roth has been a very good friend. Sabrina Cervantes has worked with us on those, but those are 1 or 2 votes within the caucuses. And it's really has been us that have stepped forward and helped in a number of different capacities. And I wanted to give us a little bit of a pat on the back for that. Last week, we came to you with the governor's our 5-year recovery program to go through what that looked like. He was going to propose $1.6 billion worth of aid over the entire 2021 to 2025 period for businesses. In the last week, the legislature has responded, as the legislature is likely to respond when they hear from businesses like ours, which they have, with a plan to come out with $2.6 billion almost immediately in business grants for businesses that can confirm that they were affected negatively, obviously, by COVID-19. So it's a much different approach. Instead of it being a 5-year approach, this will be a 1-year approach, and actually it should pass fairly quickly to the governor. It's sponsored by a bipartisan coalition, a wide coalition. It has 3 main sponsors. Republican Andrea Borges from the Fresno area is one of the sponsors. Ana Caballero, a Democrat from Fresno, is another one of the sponsors, both senators. And Assemblywoman Cody Petrie Norris from Orange County, a Democrat, are the 3 sponsors of the legislation, but it has about 17 different members, including Senator Roth, have signed on to support it. So it's $2.6 billion in state grant assistance looks at suspending some regulations on an urgency basis. Urgency, when you're dealing with the legislature, has a special an especially loaded term to get an urgency bill through the legislature, which means it takes effect immediately, not on January 1st or July 1st, takes a 2/3 vote, and it needs to be declared that it's an urgency matter. And so once the governor signs it, it can take effect immediately. And usually with such a wide degree of support, and we come to you this morning and ask for our support as an organization for that. And I'd be happy to answer any questions before we move on.
Thank you,
Any
Jeff.
questions in the queue, or?
No
Linda?
questions.
Okay, thank you so
All right.
much, Jeff.
Oh, and we've got one
Oh,
one more piece to that. No, I wanted to make sure that when we reported out to the executive committee that we had some consent there moving forward. So the second would be going over what the governor's orders on Monday actually mean. So they've been reported pretty widely that the lockdown has been removed. Well, really what has happened is the governor on Monday decided to go back to the approach that we had before December 3rd. So the strict lockdown that we were under, that restaurants couldn't serve other than takeout, all of those items, those have been removed. Based on a case-by-case, county-by-county basis, we're going back to that somewhat confusing red tier, blue tier, purple tier, green, all the different colors. And in that, Riverside is in the purple tier. So if you play it, now that we're going back to those standards, if you play that out, what you're looking at is probably 6 more weeks at least of, again, if the governor has stated on Monday that he may very well change all the rules again, positively or negatively, depending upon what your outlook is. But under the current standards, where we currently are, which are takeout for restaurants, and you can dine in limited numbers on outdoor patios, items like that, we're looking at another 6 weeks under the current standards. So the lockdown was eased on Monday, but it has not gone away. So I'm happy to answer any questions about that as well. And with that, I'm done. Other than questions, I'm done otherwise.
Okay, so we do have one question. These appear to be a rapid shift in COVID policies. Should we expect additional rapid changes, such as opening schools for all grades and activities?
Well, the CDC yesterday changed its mind on the safety of being in school in person to being in favor of it. They actually used the word, "We urge people to reopen schools." The governor last week, if you remember, was going after high schools for having teams scrimmage against each other in non-contact ways. Even threatened a couple of high-profile high school programs with eliminating their football programs for having them on the same field but different sides. So it's unclear currently if that change is going to happen. We do know that the CDC is now, as of yesterday, they put the item under review at noon on Wednesday. I'm not sure what happened on noon on Wednesday of last week, but the whole issue went under review, and the CDC is changing. Now with that, yesterday, after the CDC issued its standard, Dr. Fauci, who is of a different but related part of the federal government, came out and said that he would prefer that people wear 2 masks. So we're not getting, kind of as we have for the full year, we aren't getting experts moving in the same direction at the same time on the same. So it's very difficult for policymakers or idle watchers like myself to advise you. But I would be surprised going forward if, unless there's a further outbreak, But on the current trend, it looks like there's going to be some easing.
That's all the questions that we have for today.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Jeff. We really can't thank you enough for bringing this information to our group each and every week. At this time, I'd like to remind you that if you are not yet a member or you know of a business to refer, please reach out to our member specialist, Robert Yanez. Meetings like this are just one of the many benefits to being a part of an active, thriving organization like the Corona Chamber. We have incentives for both joining and referring. Call Robert Yanez at the Chamber office for more information. Our Chamber is growing, and together we can make a big impact. And I believe Bobby is going to share again about our sponsor today.
Yes, I will. So thank you so much to our Culture Cannabis Club. They are very involved, getting super involved in the community. And we so appreciate their sponsorship today. Again, we want to say thank you to Culture Cannabis Club. You can visit their website at culturecannabisclub.com. Kim?
Thank you, Bobby. Join us next week for more advocacy updates and about doing business in our region. Jeff Gibson, our chamber advocate, will provide insight on new laws and how to best navigate it for a successful year. Register now so your calendar is set. We want to express our appreciation to our speakers today for your time and sharing your insights on today's call. And again, to today's sponsor, Culture Cannabis Club. If you would like to sponsor a future business briefing, contact Bobby at the Chamber. Thank you everyone for attending, and our meeting is adjourned.